What's up, everybody? I'm Jack Slater, aka the Comic Outlaw, yeah! And we're going back. X-Men, First Class. Yup, the original old school X-Men team back in the day in Unread Adventures. So let's get into this. Let's see what happens as we go into the world of the OG X-Men. Iceman, Beast, Marvel Girl, Cyclops, and of course, Angel. Coincidentally, they become the members of X-Factor. Now, as Xavier summons them to an emergency, something's wrong. And keep in mind, this school has been together for about a year. About roughly that. So they're barely starting to get to know each other. But people are caught in these weird plants. And for some reason, when the plants touch them, the thorns, they end up going blind temporarily. Cyclops fires a beam in to get some of the civilians loose. The petals, the roses, and the thorns fire out everywhere. And this is where Marvel Girl uses her powers to kind of chase away the vines and the thorns. But the plant grows back. And it grabs onto them. Iceman using his powers of ice to freeze everything around him, but it captures Beast. The thorns start sticking into him as they try to figure out what to do. And you gotta love Iceman's powers. He actually makes ice claws, which is awesome. It's a show of what he can do with his ice powers. Of course, Beast gets caught by these things, and they're trying to pull it off. Jean is trying to reach into this creature's mind, but it's too complicated for her. Keep in mind, she's only been using her abilities for so long. She's not as seasoned as Professor X is. Iceman uses his powers, hoping it doesn't freeze Beast. Cyclops frees him, but Beast is freezing. Although he's freed, he could hear things in his mind. And then he tells him the voices. There's more than one. As Professor Xavier calls them in, he was reaching out to the mind of this creature, but there was interference. So he has to find another way through Cerebro. And this is where Hank McCoy and Iceman, they're actually really good friends. You know, he's telling him all you gotta do is throw your old uniform in there, a new one appears, because, you know, Xavier's rich like that. And they're having a meeting right now trying to figure out what they're going to do. Talking about the team, and Angel's pretty difficult. Angel, keep in mind, Angel was a superhero before any of these other people were. Angel was a superhero for about a year, going out there and being a vigilante before the other X-Men were formed. So he's very independent, he has his own mind on things, and he wanted the team to be called the Mighty Mutants after an older team. But Xavier didn't want to cash in on old history. And he tells him there may have been mutants before. And he shows him in his mind him flying 4,000 years ago. What do you think they would have saw? What do you think they would have assumed he was? Would he have been a god, an angel, something more? And Xavier tells him that it's every mutant's responsibility to be something more, to be a role model. Not a god, but a human with special gifts and abilities. Angel agrees with him, and he tells him to return to the school so he can get some harsh treatment from the students. Of course, Iceman's doing his assignment right now. They're all trying to learn, and he's trying to cheat. He gets called on it, and they get sent to a Cerebro, where Professor Xavier is actually looking for this creature, and he believes he's found it. He doesn't think it's mutant, though. It's something else, something strange, not of this earth. But he does sense another disturbance right around the mansion. So they go out to see what it is, to find out what this disturbance actually is. And Iceman kind of flashes back to, back in the day when they first started. And, Iceman was screwing around, throwing snowballs, and he accidentally hit Scott's glasses. And that's when he learned that he couldn't be screwing around all the time. He had to take some responsibility. This is basically from Iceman's perspective. He is writing a letter. As you hear, squaw, squaw, all these birds come out, and they all look at Angel, seeing if he could do anything about them. And Angel tells him, I have wings. I don't talk to birds. But the birds fly away and they form a big X, a signal, and something reaches out to Angel as he temporarily goes blind. And he heard the voices too. As did Marvel Girl. Someone's reaching out to them. So they get into a jet. Xavier's actually pinpointed where it is. It's somewhere deep. Deep where ice is, a place where plants don't grow. It's actually in the Arctic. And as they're enjoying their coffee, trying to figure out what they're going to do next, they find out that they're blocked off. There's actually a drilling plant there, but they can't get to it right now because of all the ice. And this is where they start using their powers as a team. Xavier's been training for this. Cyclops fires a blast, and of course Marvel Girl uses her powers to part the ice. Instead of parting the Red Sea, she's parting the cold ice. The captain is stunned at this, but they don't call her Marvel Girl for nothing. And Beast is just sitting there all happy, sipping his coffee. Angel goes out and he finds the drilling plant, and it's frozen over and it's stopped. The base has been abandoned. The people have been chased away. Only a few people are left, and they tell him there's something wrong with the processing plant. Things keep happening, strange things. And they have been in contact with something. Xavier reaches out to it, and he invites them to talk to him so they can work this out. Of course, Xavier, being the diplomat, decides they ought to before they shoot first and ask questions later, because that's not Xavier's style. They find out this alien being who is now blind is living the last of its life cycle. And the drill is actually killing them. That's why they reached out to the X-Men, but they didn't know how to communicate with them. So Xavier comes up with a good idea. They stop the drilling. The creature will be able to have its temporary life cycle, live the rest of its life out, and Iceman finishes his letter to his parents, but he can never send it off because they cannot know about his secret yet. They wouldn't understand. And what's going to happen the next time? We'll find out, won't we? And I'll catch you on the flip side. Yeah.